Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello and welcome to Rahman Digital Production. This is lecture number 108 of physics, and in today's lecture we are going to test our knowledge of electrostatics in two ways. In the first part, we will check our knowledge in the form of multiple choice questions, and in the second part we will check our knowledge in the form of structure questions. So let's get started. The first question in section A is the SI unit for electric charge is. There are four options. You have to select only one, which is correct one. So there are four options: coulomb, ampere, volt, watt. Now watt is the unit of power, SI unit of power, volt is the unit of potential difference, ampere is the unit of current, and coulomb is the unit of electric charge. So I have to write electric charge. So the first option in this regard is the correct one. Now let's turn our focus to the second part, and that is the how does an electrical conductor differ from an electrical insulator. Dear learners, if you remember, we described these two terms in greater detail in the theoretical portion. We said that conductors are devices in which there are more free electrons in the outermost shell, and insulators are those devices in which there are electrons in the shells which is tightly bound to the positively charged nucleus, so there are not more electrons in the form of free. So let us discuss the answer, and then we will select one option. A, it is negatively charged conductor, and insulator, it is positively charged. No, it is not, absolutely not the answer. B, it has free electrons. It doesn't have free electrons. In my opinion, this is the best answer so far. So let's study the third and fourth as well. Might be we are getting good answer than this one as well. The third, the C part is saying it gets hot very fast. Conductors, if they are pure conductors, they are not getting hot very fast. So it is not correct. It gets hot only slowly. It is also not correct. It cannot be charged. Conductors can be charged positively and negatively. It can be charged. No, it is also not correct. So we couldn't found any answer better than B option. So we are selecting this B option as the answer. Now the third question is saying a glass rod becomes positively charged when rubbed with the silk. Remember this. When we are rubbing the glass rod with the silk cloth, so the glass rod is becoming positively charged while the silk cloth is negatively charged. The glass rod becomes charged because there are four options, but let us first discuss that if there is a rod which is containing positive and negative charges, so it means that this is electrically neutral. When it is rubbed with the silk cloth, so it means that these electrons will go to the silk cloth there will be the silk cloth will be negatively charged, and only we will be left with the positive charge. And similarly we can say that now the rod is positively charged. So what this rod did actually loses electrons. So in this case, C is the correct option. First, there were electrons, you can see here, but when it is rubbed with the silk glass, there is no electron, and the question is saying that it is positively charged, so it means that it will have only positive charge. Negative charges are removed. So the third option is loses electrons. Let us talk about the fourth number question. If a pith ball is repelled by a rubber rod, there is a pith ball and you are bringing a rubber rod and they are repelling each other. So the first question which is coming to mind, and the answer of that is that both are having the same charge. Both are having the same charges. So if a pith ball is repelled by a rubber rod, what can be deduced about the charges on the pith ball and the rubber rod? The first option is saying only the rod is charged. This is not the condition for repelling. Only the pith ball is charged. This is also not a condition for the repulsion. C number part is saying either the rod or the pith ball is charged but not both. No, it is also not correct answer. D part is saying both the rod and the pith ball carry charges of the same sign. This is absolutely the correct answer, because for repulsion to take place, both the object must have a similar charges, either positive or negative charges, because we know that similar charges are repelling each other, unlike charges attract each other. So D is the correct answer. Now let us turn our focus to question number 5. The diagram shows a negatively charged rod held near but not touching a metal rod. You can see the charged rod is negatively charged, and there is a metal rod which is having negative as well as positive charges. In the first instance, the metal rod is neutral one. Neutral means that the negative and positive charges are spread over the metal rod evenly. Which one of the following statement best describe the movement of the charges? Number one part is, if, let us discuss first that if this is negatively charged, so negative charges will move to the farthest side. It will move from P to Q, because same charges are repelling each other. So positive charges will be attracted and negative charges will be uh, rep- uh, repelled. So the first part is saying the electrons from the charged rod jumping across the gap and enter the metal rod. Now it is absolutely not the correct answer. B part is saying the electrons in the metal rod move from the P to Q. This is the correct answer. The positive charges in the metal rod move from Q to N P. It is also not correct, because positive charges are not on the Q side. So the positive charges in the charge rod move from P to Q. The D is also not correct. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, those were the questions of the first part. Now let us turn our focus to the second part. Those contain these structured questions. The first question is given to you, and it is saying if a student is given an ebonite rod, a glass rod, some fur, and silk, how can he produce two kinds of electrifications? Dear learners, you must have to understand that electrification will be produced only when there is a positive and negative charges, and negative charges is flowing towards the positive charges. So there are 4 items given to the student, and he has to decide that how electrification will be produced. So he has to take 2 items and rub it with each other. Now the question is, which item should be rubbed with the other item? So I told you in the multiple choice question that keep in mind when the glass rod is rubbed with the silk cloth, so the glass rod will be positively charged and the silk cloth will be negatively charged. So if they are having opposite charges, so electrons will flow towards the positive charges and electrification will be produced. On the other hand, if ebonite rod is rubbed with the fur, then fur will be positively charged, and so the ebonite rod will be charged negatively. And similarly, if they are having opposite charges, so electrification phenomena will take place. This is the answer of question number 5. But I have a question for you, and that is that if we rub glass rod with fur, we will be able to see the electrification phenomena. Similarly, if we rub the glass rod with the fur, what will happen? So I want you people to write your answer in the comments portion, then I will answer you accordingly. Now let's turn our focus to question number 2, and question number 2 is comprised of 2 parts. A part is saying a negatively charged polythene strip attract a suspended object. It means both are oppositely charged. Is it correct to conclude that the object is positively charged, and why you are thinking so? Yes, but only yes is not necessary. You have to provide the proof. The object is positively charged because opposite charges attract each other. Similarly, in B part, a negatively charged polythene strip repel a suspended object. What can be concluded about the charges on the suspended rod or suspended object? Now in this case, because they are repelling each other, so the object is also negatively charged. It is said in advance that a negatively charged polythene, so the other object must also will carry the negative charge as well. So we can conclude the object is also negatively charged because like charges repel each other. This is the answer of B part of question number 2. Now let us talk about the question number 3. Question number 3 is saying draw a label diagram of gold leaf electroscope and explain how it can be positively charged by using a piece of silk and a glass rod. Now, in this diagram, if you are concentrating, so it is neutral because there are positive and negative charges equally distributed on the disc on the leaves as well, so they are in condensed form. It means that they are attracting these leaves, attracting each other. Now the question is saying that you are having a silk cloth and a glass rod and you have to charge this electroscope positively. How can we do that? First, we have to rub the glass rod with the silk cloth so that the rod will become positively charged. As you can see in this case, the second figure, and when we bring this positively charged rod near to the disc, then these negative charges will be attracted towards this positively charged rod, leaving only positive charges in this area. And similarly, these positive charges, when interacting with the glass rod, they will be repelled and they will go to the gold leaves due to the repulsion phenomena, and through the earth these negatively charged will be neutralized and only positive charges will remain on the gold leaf. How we will understand that only positive charges are there? In this case, these leaves will repel each other, so it will be diverged. It will be in the diverged form. So it shows that both the leaves are having same charges, and because the glass rod was positively charged, how? Because we rubbed it with the silk cloth and we know in advance that it will be positively charged, and positive charges are repelling each other, so we can conclude that the positive charges are on the leaves, and it can be confirmed by the diverged form, as in this case they are in condensed form, and in this case you can see that this arrow is showing that it is in diverge. Divergence phenomena can only take place when both the object are of the same charges. So in this way we can charge the electroscope positively. Now we also studied in the theoretical portion that how we can charge an electroscope negatively. If you are conscious of that, you won't feel any difficulty in giving the answer of this question. That's it for today, dear learners. Tomorrow we will do more an advanced level of questions on electrostatics, so stay tuned. Don't go anywhere from this channel. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.